Now let's be honest, Van-Haulen is very much so a mullet of a vehicle. All business in the front and party in the back. But as it is right now, we need to put some business in the back because currently we have Jesse's storage tote there instead of, you know, the box that's been sitting on my shelf for the last 2 years. So it's spring cleaning time. The missus would like to have her storage back, so I guess I should probably use the overly expensive Vevor box that the chrome is already rusting on, which has been in my garage. It's never even been outside, so I don't have high hopes. It is made out of aluminum, though, so at least when the chrome disappears, I can paint it black and blend it in. Now, I am right-handed, and I would really prefer to have the box on the driver's side so that when I get in and out, I can grab stuff out of it. The problem is our fill is right in the way, so that's not going to happen. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up coming over this way, and we're going to put it in here where this giant area is to work with. On the other side, I have debated putting some old RV steps in order to, I don't know, make it more accessible for the little people in my life. Shout out to my friend Mark. I was over at his place and I saw this on a camper he was tearing down in order to build a trailer, and I said, dude, that would be perfect for the side of the van so that Jesse and the kids can walk up onto it easier. And he said, get your grinder, take it off now, sold. I would love to see later on if that would fit right here on the van. I mean, it wouldn't take much to go around the fill neck area and stuff and have it fold down here so that when we're at races or we need to get up onto here or whatever, it's so much easier. Granted, I think it would clank around on dirt and everything else, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyways, working on getting the deck off. So I designed all of these with the same concept. Basically, there is a bar there of right angle that everything fits in underneath, and then I design a bolt down bar for the rear. Before I take all of these off, I number them. Wood planks will warp and they will do all kinds of stupid things, but if you put them all in the way that they ended up drying, most of the time they will fit back in. Most of the time. Air quotes. This is why I don't like working with wood. Okay, it is no secret whatsoever over the years that I am a TotalBoat rust primer fanatic. I love this stuff, but I do have a bone to pick with them. I will post a link down in the description to buy your own, but I will put a disclaimer. Do not paint in less than 50 degrees. Their description says 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and I am right now going to go on record as saying caca, bullpucky, whatever you want to word it. If it is not 60 degrees or better, that's not worth using. And ironically, that's the reason why the Monte Carlo build has been on pause, is because I need a shop that's 60 degrees or better to do my rust converter on. Anyways, so I'm going to spray all this down with air. We're going to recoat it. And then another person said that where over time the metal eats into the wood, they thought maybe if I did undercoating on the top of the rails, that it would stop it from eating the wood over time. I think that's a pretty cool idea, so we're going to try it for something new on this build. The sun is going down behind me, and I have run out of time, so we've got rust converter all over everything. As you can see, compared to the previous video clip, it has already started to blacken the snot out of everything. On a positive side, Jethro's currently ecstatic that there are mud puddles to go play in. On my side of life, there is literally nothing worse that could have happened than a flash rainstorm out of nowhere. The projected forecast was about 16 hours worth of no rain, and we had a coastal freak rainstorm last night. Oh man. I'm not gonna have a choice. I'm gonna have to paint it in and get rolling. We've got a car show we're supposed to be at with this thing in legit 24 hours. Oh man. It's not fixed, but it's good enough in order to go to a car show and do what John wanted to do. The frame is coated. I mean, you can see on, you guys saw in a previous clip, that was entirely coated. The flash rain washed off literally $40 worth of TotalBoat. So I'm screwed out of that $40. We're just on the salvage point right now. So I'm going to quickly put down the undercoating top layer for the rails like we talked about earlier. We're going to slap this thing together. Tomorrow we're going to take it to the car show, and then I'm going to take this side back apart in order to be able to do the box. Honestly, I think this is a little on the thin side for what we're doing. I probably should have done something like a really thick rubberized stop leak, which I actually do have some. I picked it up, but we already got this far into it. So there, we coated all those rails. Luckily, Jesse's home. She's going to drive me to go grab John from school. When I come back, we'll slap some boards on. John and I are set up. We got a Chevy, a Jeep Cherokee, an older Chevy of some sort, a Dodge. Aw man, a good old K. I like those. Oh, that's cool. Right. Trans Am. Not quite sure what that is. We'll go down and see what that wagon is in a sec. A Jeep that just rolled in. That's pretty sweet. Classic lifted. Gotta love it. Got a bagger of some sort. Maybe we'll swing by, get a quick pic of that earlier. Oh, it's an Oldsmobile. That's a big old boat. Holy cow. There we go. That's epic. I love it. My kind of ride right there. I would totally rock that. Let's see. Got Audi, Volvos down here, a newer Mustang of some sort. What we got back here? We got a GMC all stepped out. Wicked good. Got a Mustang hiding over there. There we go. A newer body style Mustang. Actually kind of like those. And what do we got? Oh, classic Miata. Got a Beamer. Oh, there we go. That's kind of a rarity up here in Maine. And what we got over there? Got a Mercedes of some sort. We got a beautiful Mustang. Holy cow, somebody spent some moolah on this thing. Everything totally done up. Alright. And let's go check. Oh, we got a late roll in. Here we go. Boy, don't that sound nice. And let's come back around on the bagger. There we go. Beautiful bagger.
Thank you.
Well, we didn't manage to go and get the box put in underneath the back bed, but we've had a bunch of people talking about the van. Everybody's been enjoying it. John's little go-kart assembly. People have been coming over to say hi and see what it is. We'll get back to working on getting the box in underneath real soon. But for now, we're going to hang out, see some other car people. Unfortunately, as you can see, we've got storms coming in. It's supposed to get rained out probably about 1 o'clock, so the amount of people that showed up is kind of limited. Well, you can see 3 of them right now. There's a group of them living underneath my neighbor's box. And that's my house and the chickens. The continuity of a video is very important in the YouTube world, and this one has lost all continuity, and so I apologize if we repeat things or we do something over. We've had a bit of a rough time. We had torrential downpour. We had flooding that took out part of our driveway. On top of that, one of our pet ferrets ended up passing away. This caused Jethro to definitely have a toddler meltdown and be a basket case for days. On top of that, continuity is not changing things drastically in the middle of a video. Like, that box used to be chrome. Well, Jethro ruined the continuity of that too, because the other day he walked by and he had like a piece of metal or something he was playing around with, and he scraped the entire side of it. And then during the torrential downpour and the flooding, it rusted through that scratch and like etched rust color down the whole side of it. And I took that as the sign that it didn't need to be chrome anymore, and it never was meant to be. So it has been painted with a layer of Rust-Oleum Extreme, and it's been painted with a layer of Rust-Oleum rubberized coat. The front is just gloss Rust-Oleum. It is what it is. But luckily, I have a support team that's willing to do the work while I'm babbling at you guys.
I like it better. It doesn't blind me.
Yes, Jesse actually likes it better in the black. So, you know, if the missus is happy, then, you know, whatever that phrase is.
You want a ladybug?
No, I don't want a ladybug. I have one lady and she bugs me enough. Jethro, you can't touch the paint, buddy. Look at your bottle. Do you want to tell the people that you came by with a chunk of metal and scratched down through and the whole thing started rusting, and so that's why we decided to paint it? Yeah. Thanks for the help. For the sake of this video clip, just imagine this box up here as high as it can go up into that frame section. No matter what I do, the bottom of the box is going to be lower than the steps on the cabs. So I want this up and into there as much as possible, but that's not going to happen because of that being there for the rear springs. So I'm kind of in a damned if I do and damned if I don't. The other thing is, I don't want the box kicking out further than the tires. So I've got to put it in as close to the frame as possible. And that leaves us in our current basic placement right about in here. Now, I think what I'm going to do is design that bar to go in underneath and drop down, weld a couple of pieces that come out, probably at a 1-inch angle, and that way it can slide in. I've got to make a drop down that goes in front, so what I'm thinking is if I make the legs an extra inch longer than what they need to be, and I make the lip 1 inch here, then I can lift the box up, put it in, drop it down, and then maybe in underneath here, put a piece that comes down and sits on top so that there's no way the box can be brought out without taking the entire deck off of. I know somebody in the comment section is going to be like, well, why didn't you just use 2-inch all the way around? It would be a lot stronger. Here's the answer. If I undo this and I let that down, I've got to have clearance for the door. So that was my restraint. So this is actually 3/4 inch. 1 inch would have fit, but this was what I happen to have some spare of. There we go. We've got the 2 straps already notched for the drop down in the front. I ripped these out of a piece of shelving unit. That's a bracer bar that was across the back of the unit that we cut down. So those are going to tip up and then be the front 2 pieces that drop down, with that being the bar across the top and the front. I'm going to be cutting it really close on being able to slide the box in. But if we have to, we'll just run the plasma cutter across that and that'll do it. What is that thing? Measure twice, cut once, tack weld it together, realize you measured it wrong. That's not going to fit to come out of that front slot the way I thought it was going to. I'm going to have to grab a plasma cutter and just plain take all of that lip basically off. Let me come around behind here. Yeah, all of it. Alright, that sucks. This new camera just hates this black on black in the shadow, so hopefully you can see the cradle there welded in. We've got everything across the top welded into there. It's all sprayed down with this Rust-Oleum Professional high performance enamel. I do not run regular Rust-Oleum. I run the Professional. I buy it by the case, 6 cans to a case off of Amazon, shipped to your door. I'll post a link for this down below because this stuff is way better than regular Rust-Oleum. I think it's only like $1 more a can and it lasts tons better. If you're doing frames, you're doing anything that's going to be outside, you should be using this. Alright, so on the inside of here, on all of the tracks and everything, I've decided to coat the snot out of it with this Rust-Oleum undercoat stuff. This is garbage. It really honestly is straight out garbage, but it's ludicrously cheap, so I run it. Now, let's see if this will drop in. Because I did it for 2 reasons. 1, it'll help with vibrations, and 2, if I put it in wet, it should glue this thing right into the tracks. So, we know we're going to cut it really close on fitting. Here we go. Watch me scratch the snot out of my pretty paint job. That only happened because toddlers are fun. Uh-oh, why aren't we fitting? Okay. Measure twice, cut 22 times. Oh, there it goes. Wait. Oh, we just needed some love taps. Okay. Turn to the right. Cool. Okay. So at this point, we know if we pull it forward, we clear down in here. And what we need to do now is make something to lock it in from the top down. Mouth open. Surprised to see me. Hey, honey.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
How goes Chicken Coop Fort Knox?
Fine.
I love you.
Love you.
Are you listening to an audiobook that's inappropriate for YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. A wise man once said, if you don't have money, you gotta spend time. If you're gonna run flux core, you are going to roast your inner grounding clamp strap. It's just a matter of time running flux core. And so what I do is I take about a little over 1.5 feet or so of an old wire off of a lawn tractor. I fillet it out. I loop it back around on itself and wind it and roll it like that in order to rebuild the inner grounding clamp strap. And I know somebody's going to say, well, why did you take the sheath off? The answer is if you get a bad ground and it goes through that, it will light it on fire inside of the clamp. And you do not want to be in that scenario. So take the time and take it out of its sheath. Anyways, we should be using that hockey puck to make that stay. I'm sure end milling out a hockey puck was on your list of redneck bingo things to do. But I think if I cut into that just a little bit, the washer that I welded on the press down piece will stay inside of there without any issue. Somewhere during this incoherent video, we talked about spray painting the frame and stuff like that every spring, and I got thinking about that, and the box is right in the way of getting to the frame rail. I mean, granted, there's nothing but the exhaust over on this side, so it's not too big of a deal, but I would like to be able to paint the frame behind it every spring. So I came up with this idea. It's just a bolt welded to some threaded rod that clamps down. And there's just barely enough clearance for me to reach between here, up in, and get to the stupid thing. It's not where anybody's going to see it right off the bat, and you'd have to know what the nut size is to get to it. I'm not too worried about somebody trying to steal the box. I just want to make sure that it's aggravating if they do. I sent a picture of this to a friend of mine, and his answer was you should call it the stealth box. I think that's actually not that bad of an idea. It blends in, you don't really see it unless the light happens to catch it just right. It kind of is. I almost actually like the appeal of the idea of stealth. So I've got to figure out getting everything loaded up in it. I know this video's been totally discombobulated, and now I gotta decide exactly how and what I'm gonna store. Also, I've got metal saved up in order to be able to make the headache rack, which I was hoping to have done by this week, along with a winch installation, but it is what it is. Lawn tractor flipping up here in the state of Maine has been, yeah, let's just say people are insane on their pricing. So, we're gonna take our time, we're gonna do up a headache rack, probably have a couple of pieces that come down into about right here. I was thinking that if I do it that way, that I can put a crossbar right there. I do a lot of stuff with 20-pound propane tanks that I refill, 5-gallon buckets, being able to put a tote up in here for grab and go when we go racing, something along those lines. I think I'm going to make it long enough out that 5-gallon buckets, totes, and tanks will fit perfectly fine. And that's it. That's where we're at right now. I am still fighting with video camera problems. I ended up with a new camera, then the microphone was an issue, and then the software ended up being a quibble. It didn't want to work with the microphone. Hopefully I've got it all sorted out at the end of this video and you guys are hearing crisp, clear sound, because I'm currently recording in about 8-mile-per-hour winds around me, and it should be getting diffused out by the new sound settings. Also, for some reason the camera keeps doing these weird lighting things that I haven't quite figured out. I also broke my glasses. You know, it's just one of those videos. Have fun, guys, and bye-bye.